Cold open, a shadowy boardroom with polished wooden tables, dim lighting, and serious-looking people in expensive suits. A single document with massive financial figures is passed between them, the room silent but full of tension. Narrator, calm, authoritative. The world's richest families control more wealth than entire nations. But here's the thing. You don't even know they exist. They manipulate capital flows behind closed doors, and it's happening right under your nose. Cut to images of private jets flying across the globe, stock market graphs rising and falling. Narrator slightly ironic. You think you understand how money works. The markets, the banks, the businesses. But the truth? It's a game.
What a beautiful
and the rules,
day for a cruise.
They were written by a select few who never play by the same rules you do.
Ladies.
Segment 1. Why this matters now. Cut to visuals of busy financial districts, luxury cars, and private yachts. The camera zooms in on a set of billionaire families. Narrator. Serious. Compelling. These families don't just own luxury yachts. They own the systems that govern money, the ones you depend on every day. From the banks where you deposit your salary, to the companies that sell you your groceries. If you follow the money, it all leads back to them. Cut to workers striking in the streets. Headlines about economic inequality flashing on screen. Narrator, growing tension. While you struggle to make ends meet, they're pulling the strings. And not just in the obvious ways.
Yes, and the
No,
projections
these
look
families
strong.
know how to
Let's
make money
monitor these trends
multiply,
closely.
not just
Agreed.
with businesses, but with capital itself. And most people have no idea how it's done. Segment 2. The mechanism of control. Cut to a complex diagram showing banks, corporations, hedge funds, and offshore accounts, all connected by thin lines of money flow. Narrator. Calm, explanatory. Let's break it down. Capital flows aren't just about investments. They're a game of control. The world's richest families manipulate these flows by controlling access to money, making moves in ways most people can't even see. Visuals show a family's private investment firm making large stock purchases. Narrator. Simple but clear. It all starts with control over capital. These families have massive amounts of it, but they don't just leave it sitting in bank accounts. They send it out through a network of private equity firms, hedge funds, and shell companies that you'll never hear of. Cut to footage of a luxury real estate transaction showing how the money moves quickly. Narrator. Calm, slightly skeptical. Through these firms, they're able to move money across borders, through loopholes in tax laws, into real estate, stocks, and businesses, often without paying the taxes regular people do. They use leverage, debt, and hidden assets to keep the system in their favor. Segment 3. Cut to a graph showing the rise of family wealth over decades, outpacing the growth of the global economy. Narrator. Serious, drawing the viewer in. And this is where the math gets uncomfortable. In 2023, the wealthiest 1% controlled almost 40% of the world's total assets. And this wealth isn't just sitting there. It's growing, and growing fast, often faster than the global economy itself. Cut to a financial advisor smiling at a client's portfolio, while the camera zooms in on a complex investment document. Narrator. Slightly ironic. These families don't get their wealth from starting businesses. They get it from the financial system, where they control the flow of capital in ways that keep everyone else playing catch-up. They profit off debt, off your labor, off the very systems that seem neutral. Segment 4. Public hype versus reality. Cut to the facade of a well-known billionaire's public image. Media coverage of charity donations, philanthropic causes, and entrepreneurial success. Narrator. Calm but critical. On the surface, we're told that these families are heroes, philanthropists, visionaries. They made their wealth with hard work and ingenuity, right? They're leveraging power and influence in ways that most people can't even imagine. Cut to images of stock market tickers, with massive trades happening in seconds. Narrator. Pointing out the discrepancy. Meanwhile, the companies they control are playing a different game. Short-term profits? They don't matter as much as long-term influence. They manipulate market trends, make massive trades in fractions of a second, and move money in and out of countries like it's monopoly money. Segment 5. The true cost of control. Cut to a world map showing global wealth inequality, then to a scene of people struggling to pay bills, while luxury items are purchased at a record pace. Narrator. Serious, sober, but at what cost? As the richest families continue to shift capital flows in their favor, the gap between the ultra-wealthy and everyone else continues to widen. The game is rigged. They're left holding the bag. Cut to images of government bailouts for large corporations, while smaller businesses close down. Narrator, direct with a hint of irony. You see, these families don't just manipulate money, they manipulate the system itself. They've got politicians, CEOs, and regulators in their pockets, creating policies that favor their interests. Meanwhile, the rest of us are left to deal with the fallout. Segment 6. Long-term implications. Cut to a darkened city skyline with billboards showing economic instability and news about rising debt. Narrator serious, widening the perspective. If this continues, what happens in the long run? We're talking about a system that becomes even more concentrated in the hands of a few families. The rich will continue to get richer, while ordinary people struggle to make a living. Cut to scenes of economic protests, workers leaving jobs, and public institutions under strain. Narrator, slightly ominous, but when one group controls so much of the wealth and power, what happens when the system starts to crack? The answer might not be pretty. Because a system built on hidden manipulation and inequality is one that can't last forever. Closing scene, cut to a close-up of a luxury watch, ticking slowly, before cutting to a shot of an empty street, the camera pulling back to show the global reach of these families. Narrator, calm, lingering on the thought. So here's the question. How much longer can this game go on before it breaks? And when it does, will we even notice? Or will we be too far in the dark? The screen fades to black, leaving the viewer with a single line. The power to move capital is the power to shape the future. Narrator, softly as the credits roll.